y'all, it's Heel Heat time.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles, and this is my review of All In. Now, we're not too far from the show. It ended roughly 40 minutes ago, so I'm giving it, while it's fresh on my mind, we're going to start off with the 0 hour WGN pre-show. If you haven't watched any of my reviews before, we grade everything on the shows on a 1 to 5 scale, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. Jumping right in, we have the Young Bucks and Cody coming out to the ramp, saying that they're ready to blow the budget. They give you some pyro. They bring back a legend and bring in Road Warrior Animal, comes out on his motorcycle, which is apropos of being in Chicago. And then they start shooting off t-shirts into the crowd. They go to break. We come back with our first match of the night. The Briscoe brothers versus the SCU team of Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky. I didn't expect this crowd to be this one-sided in this match. I expected more Briscoe cheers. But SCU is hot, and this is a really good match, a really hot opener. For people that might have been tuning into WGN that don't know either of these two teams, it kind of set the bar kind of high. It showed what they could expect and why they should order the pay-per-view. SCU picked up the win. I was kind of surprised by that. I'm going to assume that means they're going to get an actual Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship match very soon. I'm going to give this match a 4 out of 5. I thought it was a great way to start the show, a great way to introduce the fans to some new people. And then from that, we go into our second match, and the second of two matches on the 0 hour, the Over the Budget Battle Royal. I'm not going to name everybody that was in it, but we had guys like Moose, Brian Cage, Bully Ray, Tommy Dreamer, Billy Gunn and Austin Gunn, his son, Marco Stunt, who got a lot of notoriety for being added, and some other guys, Trent, Chucky T, Cheeseburger. I know I'm going to forget people, that's why I don't want to mention everybody. Jordan Grace, and Chico El Luchador, which we had Rocky Romero and Chico El Luchador. Early in the match, Chico El Luchador gets put through a table by Bully Ray. Keep that in mind because it plays in, and later on, we had kind of an interesting battle royal. I'm a huge fan of the concept of a battle royal. I think they're fun. I think they're unpredictable. I think it's an easy way to get a lot of people you like on the one card. There was a lot of outside guys going through the ropes or under the ropes and interacting outside, which is not normal for a pay-per-view or not normal for a battle royal, but it's what they did here. I thought it was good. We come down to the end. Bully Ray seemingly wins it. However, Chico El Luchador comes back in the ring because he was never eliminated, eliminates Bully Ray, and takes off his mask to reveal it's Flip Gordon. So Flip gets booked for the show. Way to go, Flip. You found a way on. I'm going to give this match a 4 out of 5. It was definitely a different take on a battle royal. I thought it was fun. I'm a fan of a straight up battle royal, so again, I thought this was a fun way. You get some legends, some people that people know, Colt Cabana, Tommy Dreamer, Bully Ray. For the people that are watching on the channel that know these guys, they could go, okay, these are some of the people involved. We should maybe order the pay-per-view. But again, I thought it was a good match, a good way to help sell the product that we're going to show. Now, I am remiss to mention, I picked the SCU match and this both wrong on my predictions. I picked the Briscoes to win, and I picked either Neville or Punishment Martinez to win the Battle Royal. So, 2 wrong out of 2 wrong so far. Next up, we have a match that wasn't announced. MJF versus Matt Cross. I liked this match for the first match of the actual pay-per-view, the opener match. I thought this was really good. I thought it was fun. Matt Cross is a guy that's criminally underrated. MJF kind of kind of reminds me of EC3 a lot, but in a different enough way that he's his own character. He has a lot of the same abilities, kind of like, almost like Nick Aldis, who we're going to talk about later. He has that kind of appeal to him, that kind of, I'm better than you just because I'm better than you appeal. And I thought this was a really good match. I thought it was a nice way to give Matt Cross, who's been wrestling for 20 years, his due, give him a nice spot on a big show. Matt Cross picks up the win. I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. Again, I'm enjoying everything I'm seeing so far. Next up, we have Christopher Daniels versus Stephen Amell from Arrow. This match could have been bad. Stephen Amell, actually, this is his 4th wrestling match that's been televised. I know he does some training on the side in wrestling, and probably has walked through a few of these. This is his first singles match against a guy that, probably the best guy to put him in there with, to carry him through. I thought this was actually a really good match. I think Stephen Amell, for being a non-wrestler, carried himself better than a lot of wrestlers do. You could go to a lot of shows across America, even shows that you see on Monday and Tuesday and Thursday nights, and there's wrestlers that aren't as good as Stephen Amell on those shows. So, to me, his natural athleticism and the fact that we had a ring general like Christopher Daniels in there carried this to be a really good match. Daniels picked up the win. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Once again, I picked wrong, so the first 3 matches, I picked all wrong. Well, the first 3 announced matches, Matt Cross and MJF, wasn't announced. Next up, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to go through these as fast as I can so I don't make this a 2-hour-long video. We have the Fatal 4-Way Women's match, Madison Rayne versus Britt Baker versus Chelsea Green versus Tessa Blanchard. This match was really fun again. It's continuing the trend of every match being fun and being good and having the crowd hyped for it. I thought there were a lot of really good spots. I thought we showcased all 4 of the women and what they're really good at. And luckily, this was the first match I picked properly of the night. Tessa Blanchard did pick up the win. I thought she would because of her being the Impact Women's Champion. I thought that they wouldn't have her lose on the show. I'm going to give this again another 4. So out of the first 5 matches, it's all 4s. So we're a really solid show going into this. And I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing at this point. Next up, and I thought this was weirdly placed. I think, especially with how it ended, it should have ended the show. We have Nick Aldis versus Cody Rhodes for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. I cannot say enough about how much I enjoyed this match. Everything from the presentations with Nick Aldis coming out with Daivari and Tim Storm and Jeff Jarrett and a couple other guys, and I'm just slipping my mind, to Cody Rhodes coming out with Pharaoh and Brandy Rhodes and DDP and Glacier and Tommy Dreamer and his brother-in-law and Brandy's brother, and it was just the whole thing, from the presentation to Earl Hebner being the referee who's refereed NWA Championship matches in the past. It felt very important. It felt like this was the main event. And this match was so good. I enjoyed every second of it. It had me on the edge of my seat. We got a spot in the middle of the match where Cody got busted open so we could see Daivari take a diamond cutter from DDP. Great little spot in the middle of the match. Brandy Rhodes stops an elbow drop from Aldis, which saves Cody the match towards the end. Cody picks up the win in a pinning combination reminiscent of British Bulldog at SummerSlam 92. I friggin' love this match. This match was so good. This was everything I wanted and more. I teared up and cried a little bit at the end. I am a huge Cody Rhodes fan. I like the guy a lot. I think he's everything that's right with wrestling. I know I said I'm going to grade everything on a 1 to 5 scale, but much like Dave Meltzer, I gotta break my scale. I'm giving this match a 6. I thought it was above and beyond anything I could have possibly expected. It delivered on such a visceral level that there was everything about it was fantastic. Now, speaking of fantastic, we roll on to our next match of the night. In a Chicago street fight, the bad boy Joey Janela with Penelope Ford versus Hangman Adam Page. This was a great match to come off of that because, and I like how they built this card. We had different styles. Briscoes and SCU, more of a smash mouth match. The Battle Royal, which was different than any Battle Royal we ever seen. The Clash of Styles and MJF and Matt Cross. Daniels and Amell, more of a traditional style. The four-way women's match, the high-paced match. Aldis and Rhodes, a more traditional NWA style match. And then we got the hardcore match here, Janela versus Page. And God, there were some sick bumps in this. There was the burning hammer that Page hit Janela with through the table. The funny spot where Janela rolled the Cracker Barrel, and Adam Page jumped it. Try saying Cracker Barrel 3 times fast. And at the end, we see off of a ladder the rite of passage through a table. It was phenomenal. I loved this. This was another great match. Adam Page picked up the win. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. Even without the extracurriculars, Penelope Ford got involved in the match. She brought in the shoes that we've seen on Being the Elite that talked to Adam Page to distract him. Page did pick up the win. Afterwards, the screen goes dark. We see what we've seen on Being the Elite with Joey Ryan laying dead. However, something in his pants starts moving. And then we get the Joey Ryan version of an Undertaker entrance with a bunch of guys dressed as penises coming out and basically being his version of the Druids. Joey comes out, attacks Adam Page, the Druid, penis, Drew, whatever you want to call it, to take him off. I just thought it was silly, it was funny, it was great. It worked so well coming off of such a violent match that they would do something like this. The fans in the crowd went crazy for it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was awesome. I loved it. Like I said, I give the match a 5 out of 5. I thought this was fantastic. Now, next up, we have Jay Lethal, who comes to the ring not only with Lanny Poffo, but in Randy Macho Man Savage's actual WCW gear. And I thought that was such a nice touch for him to wrestle the match mostly as Black Machismo against Flip Gordon. There was a cool spot towards the end where they did the Randy Savage versus Ultimate Warrior spot where Warrior kicks out after a few elbow drops and Adam Page did it, and then he hawked up and did the big boot. I thought not Adam Page, Flip Gordon hawked up and did the big boot. I thought this match was really good. I keep saying this every review I do that has Flip Gordon in it. This is Flip Gordon's best match, and he keeps getting better and better, and it's crazy. I picked this one right. I picked Jay Lethal to win. I didn't think they would change the Ring of Honor Championship this quickly. The match, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. I thought it was really great. So now I'm back on board. I have 4 that I picked right to Tessa Blanchard, Cody Rhodes, Adam Page, and Jay Lethal, against 3 that I picked wrong and 1 they didn't announce. After the match, we have again, for the second match in a row, some after-match extracurriculars. Bully Ray comes out, attacks Flip Gordon, attacks Lanny Poffo, which brings out Chicago's hero, Chicago's favorite son, Colt Cabana, to make the save, and he runs Bully Ray off. Everybody goes home happy. We have a great showing. Like I said, I give it a 5. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Next up, we have another match that I thought was weirdly placed. I thought it may have been, this could have arguably been the main event, being how big the two guys are. That's Kenny Omega versus Penta El Zero, which is what Pentagon Jr. was going as here. I've seen a couple people online that didn't like this match, and I did. I liked it a lot, actually. I thought it was really good. I didn't think it was the greatest match. It's not Kenny Omega's best match, and it's not Penta El Zero's best matches. but their styles clash so differently. Penta's more of a brawler, more of a hardcore type guy, or Kenny Omega's Kenny Omega. He's just amazing. He's one of the elite athletes in all of wrestling. I thought it was a really good match. I thought a lot of factors, the one-off dream match feel to it was really good. There was a couple things I felt a little bit predictable, but not overall. It didn't hurt my enjoyment of the match. Kenny Omega picks up the win with the One-Winged Angel, which keeps the One-Winged Angel strong. I'm going to give this match a 4 out of 5. It wasn't as good as some of the other matches on this card, but it wasn't as bad as I've seen some people on Twitter saying right after it went off. And for the second time in the night, the lights go off. This time, the announce team say we must be having technical difficulties. We're sorry. This is our first run on pay-per-view. And boom, they come back on. And we see Pentagon Jr. come and attack Kenny Omega. Only it's not Pentagon Jr. He unmasks and voila, it's Y2J, Chris Jericho. I like this a lot. I was a little bit surprised that Jericho was going to be there. When I did my preview, I said there's probably going to be at least one big surprise on the show, and this is probably the biggest surprise we had. Joey Ryan, you could argue with, Bully Ray, but Chris Jericho, what can you say about the guy? I really liked it. I liked his involvement, his attack, him grabbing the microphone and saying, "Kenny, I'll see you on the Jericho Cruise." I thought it was a fantastic way to set up for the people, a lot of people who were in attendance or watching at home, who were actually going to go on the Jericho Cruise, because there's so much synergy between the two separate products that it makes sense to hype it here. Next up, we have Kazuchika Okada versus Marty Scurll. This is another match I really, really enjoyed. I liked this a lot. I thought the psychology was fantastic in it. I thought Okada wrestling as a bigger wrestler and Marty trying to wrestle as the underdog, I thought there was a lot there that they worked with. It was really good. I enjoyed this a lot. I like the two of them. I'd like to see them go at it again and again and probably again. I thought this was a really good match. Probably not something we're going to see too much with the way that New Japan handles their weight classes. But for something special for the show, I thought it was really good. I thought it was a fantastic match. Probably my second favorite match of the night. Aldous and Rosebud was my favorite. I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 5. Kazuchika Okada wins, much like I predicted. So we're now on a roll. I've picked 6 in a row that were right. So I'm going to have more right than I have wrong, no matter what we do here. So I gave it a 5 out of 5. Last but not least, the main event of the night, Rey Mysterio Jr., Rey Fenix and Bandito versus Nick and Matt Jackson, the Young Bucks, and Kota Ibushi. I liked this match. It was a car crash match. It was a high spot match. It was fast. It was all over the place. It was a train wreck at times. Mysterio and Ibushi in the ring together was just a magical moment between the two. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I liked it a lot. I thought this was a good way to go off the air. It was kind of weird how they quickly went off the air, but we'll talk about that in a second. I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a perfect way to show off all 6 of these wrestlers and their immense talent that they have. There was a lot of false spots. There was a lot of really good stuff happening in this match, and I thoroughly enjoyed this. The Golden Elite team picks up the win, which is what I predicted. I'll give it a 5 out of 5. Again, I thoroughly enjoyed this match. And I picked it properly, so I have 7 right on the card, 3 wrong, and 1 that they didn't announce before I did my predictions. So I did pretty good on my predictions. I thought the show was really good. We have 11 matches. Out of the 11 matches, we have 4 matches I gave a 5 to. and 6 matches that I gave a 4 to, and one that I broke my scale and gave a 6 to. Overall, the whole package between everything with the pre-show stuff, the surprises, the match structure, Y2J, Joey Ryan, I'm going to give the whole show a 5. I thought it was a fantastic card. One of the best wrestling shows I've seen all year. They could easily do it all in 2, and I really hope they do, because this is what it should be like to be a wrestling fan. This delivered on every level you could want. You had a lucha match, you had a big man versus little man, you had a world title change, you had a hardcore match, you had a 4-way women's match that was off the charts, you had a great battle royal, you had a superstar actor wrestling in a match that was solid. I mean, everything about this from top to bottom, this show was put together great. And it's really, really cool to see guys that go out there and try something different succeed. And I gotta give kudos to Nick, Matt, and Cody. I thought you guys did an awesome job. I can't wait till All In number 2, because I know there's going to be one, whether you call it All In 2 or whatever you call the next one. Please do another one. Please take this to different places, because as quickly as you sold out the 10,000, now that everybody's seen what you can produce, you're going to be able to send out 20 or 25 or even 30,000. It was the number one thing trending in the world at one point. The distance between it, there was 200,000 more tweets between that and what was the number 2 trending thing in the world, which is crazy to think about. An independent wrestling show being that much higher and that much more talked about in social media than anything else. I'd love to see what the pay-per-view numbers end up being. I know a lot of people got it through Honor Club. A lot of people are going to watch it on New Japan World, which is going on. I don't know if it's on yet, but we know that it's supposed to come on after the show airs, so check New Japan World if you don't have Honor Club, or if you didn't watch it on Fight TV. If you got this far, you should have known on a review show we're going to have spoilers, so I'm not going to say I'm sorry for the spoilers. But basically, I thought this was a fantastic show. I give it a 5 out of 5. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I loved every second of it. But basically, that's all I have to say on this topic. My name is George Coles, and this has been my review of All In.